All right, no stranger to seasonal allergies in Southeast Texas. Y'all always can tell when my eyes are
You're
red.
fighting it today, aren't you?
Because I get messages from viewers like, what's wrong with you? My allergies, y'all. Well, if yours have been like mine, have been bothering you recently when normally they don't, mold could be to blame.
Yeah, let's dig into it. ABC 13 meteorologist Elise Smith joining us now with more on the rise, and you're going to have to explain them first.
I will.
Mold spores.
It's February.
It is. It's winter, right? You're like, why are my allergies so bad right now? It's winter. And this is not the kind of mold we're talking about that typically grows in your home. We're talking about mold spores that actually circulate in the outdoors. It's a type of allergen or pollen. Mold spores, they're most common in the winter months here in Houston, and lately there have been a lot of dead leaves on the ground, some white fungus growing on trees, plus it was damp and dreary last week. Perfect environment for mold spores to grow and spread. And last week, mold spore levels skyrocketed to the extreme range. But those levels, they range day to day and depend on the weather. So after a sunny and dry weekend, mold counts today, at latest report, they're lower. Still, I reached out to a local allergist to learn more about how mold spores can impact our health.
Mold spores allergy also present with allergy symptoms, nasal congestion, runny nose, sneezing, coughing, itchy throat, itchy eyes. And if you have allergies, if you have mold allergy and asthma, your asthma symptoms, many studies show that your asthma symptom can be triggered by exposure to mold spores. In some patients, exposed to certain molds can cause severe asthma attack.
So that's some important information from there if you do have asthma. Now, I actually went through allergy testing last spring because I moved to Houston and I was like, wow, pollen is different here. And as I went through that testing, I found out that I am actually allergic to 2 types of molds commonly found in tropical climates. I would have never been exposed to that living in the Midwest and the Great Lakes. So I asked Dr. Wen about that today. I was like, is it because I'm not from Houston? Here's what she said about that. Take a listen.
When I moved here, and I know a lot of people who live in Houston aren't from Houston. So are people not from Houston at a higher risk of being allergic to some of the different allergens that are more specific to this kind of climate?
So yes, so for allergy, and how long you been here? Is it, I know it's a personal question, 2 to 3 years?
2 years, yep.
That's it. See, I say 2 to 3 years. That's a perfect number of the years. I was thinking 2 to 3 years, because that's how long it takes for your body to develop allergy. So when you're allergic to something,
there it is. Finally got the answers to my questions. So that being said, she said to monitor your symptoms. Of course, reach out to a doctor if they start to get worse. And she also mentioned again that it is cold and flu season. So what might be allergies, if those symptoms start to get worse, that could actually be signs of a different respiratory illness. But that goes to show mold spores very high right now, and they can be just as serious as ragweed. You were talking about cedar pollen, oak pollen, what we typically see in other months.
Yikes. All right, well, that validates me too. Non-Houstonian here. I'm like, Houston's trying to kill me. We now know why. It's rough. We haven't adjusted yet.